Hey guys, we are live. Just waiting on Eric to come on, but I thought I'd get started just because some of you were waiting. Um, yeah. Okay, so I'll give it a couple of minutes. Okay, how do I kill the time here? Oh, hey, 3 people came in. Yeah, just want to let you guys know if you guys want to join us. There is a link in the video description. You are welcome to join us and talk to us about if what is a collector, or if you are a collector, or if you're a watch enthusiast. It's funny, a post like this came up on Instagram. I saw someone post the same question that I was thinking about for a while. If we are watch collectors or no, or if we're just watch enthusiasts. But yeah. Hey, Sands of Time. Just got a 300T. Wow, that is a cool piece. Very nice. Yeah, I don't have any Doxa 80s. I think those are hard to come by. I'll probably have to purchase one if I am to review it, but yeah, I don't have the wrist for that. So, but it's a really cool piece. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Yeah, like I mentioned, if you guys want to join us and talk online, feel free to follow the link in the description. There's a StreamYard link. It's pretty simple. Eric is saying it's not letting him join. Hang on, guys. It's working for me, Eric. I just tried it on my phone, so I don't know. Guess we're having a bit of technical difficulties. It's a great way to start a stream. But yeah, I guess I'll get started with my wristwatch check while we wait for you guys. I am wearing the Grand Seiko SBJJ 201. This thing really does not show up on my webcam. It's the white Iwate dial, GMT high beat. Really cool piece. I consider it the ultimate alternative to the Grand Seiko Snowflake. Although it would have been cool if this thing had spring drive as well, but can't win everything. Hey, Eric's on.
Here 10 times, and it was just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
Yeah.
I don't know why it didn't let me do it. Sorry about that. Apologize.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, welcome, man. Yeah. Good to have you.
Yeah, technical difficulties.
yeah. Well, it's good to see you. What are you wearing today?
Right now I got on a Eterna. It's just a 3-hander, 2-tone.
Okay, very nice.
The silver dial.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. I'm going to do another review on this. I did a review on this, but I took it down because my camera was acting up.
Yeah.
And one of my lenses, I think I have to get it checked because it won't stay in focus. Only my macro lens is working right now. So
really? Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what's up. And my camera's a Sony 7, 7S2. It's a good camera, but I don't know what's going on. You never know.
Oh, sorry to hear that, man.
So where were you at? The first 8 minutes I was in La La Land.
No, I was just killing some time. I was about to break out into song.
Right. I know we had some topics and subjects. What was the first one you wanted to talk about?
Well, I was thinking we can talk about, get a bit personal, talk about whether we are collectors and or just watch enthusiasts, because it seems to be a topic that's out out right now. In the past few months, I've heard quite a few people say that they don't consider themselves watch collectors, but they're just watch enthusiasts, even people with really amazing collections. So I was thinking of tackling that, kind of going into our, our how we got started and so on. But yeah, I was going to comment on your chronograph, Seiko SRQ. That's a really cool piece, man.
I just picked that up. I just picked that up maybe a week ago.
Yeah.
From AZ Fine Time.
Okay. Yeah, I thought for sure you'd be wearing that.
It's right here. Actually, this is the first day I took it off in about a week.
Wow.
But I really love this watch, actually.
It's really nice. And it has that Zen Garden pattern on the dial, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. Kind of like a wheat. You know how it has little arrows, like kind of like wheat lined up next to each other.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. No loom or anything like that. Just it's just a nice chronograph, simple. And I was trying to figure out if these hands are thermally blued. I want to say they are, or were they painted, but knowing Seiko, I'm thinking they're thermally blued, especially with a $2,000 watch. I'm guessing it should be.
It should be, but I've had the enamel dial, not the same version, but the enamel dialed three-hander, and I want to say they're thermally blued, but I don't think they are, because they almost seem translucent in some lights, which I don't recognize in, say, like my Grand Seikos, ones that I know are thermally blued. So I have a feeling they're chemically blued or they are painted.
And that's what I was thinking in this case, that it was chemically blued or painted. But they don't show any information on the website.
No, it's really hard to get information from Seiko and Grand Seiko.
Right. Right. I'm thinking about getting that King Seiko. I know it's $3,500, but it's a really nice size. I think it's coming in right at 38 millimeters, maybe.
Yeah.
Something I think you would really like that. You got your eye on it already, huh?
Yeah, it's on the list. It's definitely something I want to see for sure. It's rare to see a new watch in that size, that fits all those boxes. So.
Oh yeah. They're gonna call me the day they get it in, and I have a real one of the most prominent Seiko dealers over here on the West Coast in Arizona. So I got a real good Seiko dealer.
Yeah, that's good.
I got two Seikos now. I have the other one. I have that. I haven't even wore it. The Zimby 15.
Yeah. That's a two-tone one. I really like that one too. It's a cool piece. So just checking in on the comments here. Kevin says that he loves the Mount Iwate dial GMT. That's the one I'm wearing, by the way, Eric.
Let me see that. Let me see it. I didn't see it. Did you show it already?
Yeah.
Come in a little bit. I can't see it.
It doesn't focus for some reason. The white dial and the lighting kind of.
Oh, it's bouncing off of there. Okay, I get it. All right. Oh, that is nice.
Yeah, it's got the.
I saw that on your Instagram.
Yes. Yeah.
I saw it on your. That's a beautiful watch. I saw it on your Instagram.
Yeah. I'm really grateful to have it. It's really nice, and that Iwate dial, it looks like you're driving through a blizzard. I really wish this was called the Blizzard, but that name is taken.
Right.
We should call it the Grand Seiko Snowstorm to get around that.
Right.
But
that's a cool name.
Yeah. Kevin also said that it's a beautiful Seiko chronograph. We agree. 50th Seiko anniversary chronographs. Those are really nice. The Porco Rosso, I think it's the same case. I don't know if you've seen that chronograph.
The black one with the racing stripes, the aircraft one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. The fighter pilot or something.
Flag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they make two versions of that.
Yes. Yes, they did.
A,
Yeah.
a chrono and a three-hander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chrono and a spring drive.
You're
Mhm.
right. And the spring drive's a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I think the chrono comes in at 3,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful
But
black enamel dial. Really nice.
I don't know if that's actually worth it to me because I picked this one up for about $2,000.
Yeah.
And for 1,500, you're just getting the enamel dial versus this one has the steel dial, but it's the same guts, it's the same movement,
Yes,
you
and
know.
your watch is before Seiko started to push up market, so it's at a really good price, and every watch
Right.
now is going to be at that 4,000, 3,000, $4,000 mark. So you have a steal. They're probably going to discontinue those soon.
Yeah. I'm planning on holding on this one because it has the column wheel and it has the vertical clutch in this one.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's very nice. Yeah. Okay, so I was thinking we can move on to our collector journey, or the thing that makes us collectors or no. So Eric, I just want to ask you: do you consider yourself a watch collector, or would you consider yourself a watch enthusiast and not a collector?
I'm more of an enthusiast, and the reason why I say that is because I flip watches quite a lot. I don't have a lot of watches that stay around. My Eterna Diver is stuck around, and my Citizen is stuck around because one of my everyday watches. So
Yeah.
my Eterna Diver, my Citizen is in my core collection, and then I have another cheapo. I'll show you this right here.
Oh yeah, Casio Royale.
And I wear this when I ride my motorcycle because I figure if I want to go down, I don't want to go down with $3,000 strapped to my wrist
Yeah.
and end up ruining a watch. So I do have about 4 watches in my core collection, and now the Seiko is definitely one. The chronograph, the Presage is definitely one,
Yeah.
and but I don't consider myself a serious like collector. Although I do have some Grail pieces I'm saving up for right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what would you say, what cusp would someone have to exceed to become a collector in your opinion? When does someone become or go from enthusiast to a collector, collector enthusiast, or something like that? Do you have a defined line that you can think of, or
well, it depends because you can go off on so many tangents with collection. You can collect um, in just certain brands. You can
yeah,
collect with inside that brand just certain series. Like I just want all Rolex chronographs, or I just want all different years Submariners. Or you can just go off where you just want Swiss, you just want Japanese. Um, but if you have, I want to say, I don't believe in that one watch collection theory thing. Like, how's it a
yeah,
collection if you have one watch? Some people say they have a one watch collection. I think you just have a watch. I don't think it's a one. I think you got to have at least two. But the criteria is, in my opinion, all over the place. It's whatever you want to consider, because I know people with collections where they only want one watch from each brand, and then some people want to stick with like I see that you love Grand Seiko,
yeah,
but
I do.
then you still have your Swiss pieces also,
Yeah,
and so I don't know. It seems like you're not really on board with Rolex, in my opinion.
no,
Just by watching your videos, you're just like a Rolex. Like I'm gonna go against the grain. But you chose a real good watch. The Grand Seikos are definitely, to me, they're higher quality than Rolex. As you know, I sold my Rolex, my
yes,
last Rolex I had earlier this year, because I wasn't really happy with it. It didn't even keep that good time. It kept about 8 seconds a day, and I noticed that the watch lost a little bit of isochronism when it wasn't fully wound. But I think it's just it's height. It's hype.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, it's hype. But they're great watches. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing the brand,
Yeah.
but for the money you can spend, you can really get a whole collection for the price of one watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. You touched on something. Hopefully, we can touch on a little later. I'll bring it up again. But
Okay.
Kevin Peter was asking, what is a collector versus enthusiast, and that's kind of what we're trying to get behind here. So, I guess in my opinion, I think it kind of lines up with what you're saying and what a lot of people are saying. I guess a collector is someone who has a focus on a certain theme, I guess. And I guess all this is opinion, right? All this can be he said, she said. I if I want to advocate for the other side, I think anyone who has more than one of something should be probably called a collector of that thing. Say if someone has now this is not what I agree on, but just to advocate for the other side, if anyone has more than one, say two or three of something, at that point you kind of have a collection of watches. In this case, right? So
Right.
I guess at that point, if you have a collection of something, that makes you a collector. So I guess
That's what I was thinking. But the one watch thing, I don't think you can have a one watch collection. I don't consider
right.
that collection.
No, I agree with you. But before we get on to that, I just wanted to mention again, now that we have a few more guys here, there is a link in the description if you want to join our chat online, video or audio. You can follow it and you'll be sent to our StreamYard studio here. So if you want to join us and share your thoughts, you're welcome to do so. Okay, so the one watch collection thing, that's a great topic. I think when someone says it's a one watch collection, it's something that condenses, say, three watches into one watch. I don't think it necessarily means that one watch is a collection on its own, but the fact that one watch made a collection, not a collection, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So I guess
so basically, if you have a Submariner, you got a collection. You got your dress watch, your swim watch, right? So
yeah, if you have a Submariner, you kind of eliminated your collection.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true too. In a lot of cases.
Yeah. So I guess if we take the Submariner or say the Rolex Explorer for an example, or the Omega Aquaterra, we have a watch that can pass off as a dress watch if you put it on a strap, a watch that can be swam in on a NATO or a bracelet, and a watch that can be worn every day because it's robust and it's a strong watch that can take a beating and keep going. So the Explorer, the Submariner, the Aquaterra,
especially the Aquaterra, especially the Omegas, because Omegas are really amagnetic, and it's just unfortunately I'm not a Rolex hater. The Omega, to me, on paper, is just a better product.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got to tell like it is from an enthusiast perspective.
Yeah,
they're better on paper, and so is Seiko, by the way. I'm gonna get a lot of haters for that, but
no, you're in a safe space. I think a lot of us really like Seiko. So, going back to the chat, Kevin mentioned that I think a collector is someone who doesn't wear their watches but puts them away. I think I'm an enthusiast as I wear all my watches. That's a really interesting perspective. See, I guess I didn't answer if I would consider myself a collector. I would consider myself a collector in Eric's definition of the term collector and my definition of the term collector, because I have a theme that I follow. And usually when I do own something, I've always been a collector. I used to collect comic books. I used to collect movies and TV shows and stuff back when you could collect them. Now it doesn't make any sense to collect them. But
right.
so my watch collection is themed on Grand Seiko. and at the moment at least. And I decided to get a high beat, a spring drive, and 9F quartz movement, of one of each. And I decided to go with a white dial theme. And so that is like the core of my collection right now. I used to have a bunch of other watches that I kind of purged in order to make that collection. I used to have Omega First Omega in Space, Zenith El Primero, a couple of other things. That really didn't. They were great watches, and I really loved them, but it really didn't get my blood going like a Grand Seiko does, right? So
Right.
while I would consider Zenith above Grand Seiko, I think in the grand scheme of things, especially their finishing. If you see the El Primero, it's not discernible from a Grand Seiko Zeratsu polishing. But say you have, I would consider Zenith above Grand Seiko, but Grand Seiko was something that really got me excited, while Zenith was really exciting to have, but it kind of left me cold when I really thought about it. So I have that collector in me, and I wear my watches. If I actually have my SBGY 003, my favorite watch. This again, can't really see it, but it's the Grand Cocktail Time. If you guys can picture it. And it's my daily. It's a really thin watch. It's a dress watch. It's got 30 meters of water resistance.
Does that one have a power reserve on the back?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I know the one. Okay, I know which one it is. Okay, they kept the front really simple, and they didn't put that little power reserve doohickey on the front. They put it on the back.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. That watch reminds me most of one of the Creedors.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aichi.
Yeah.
Or Aichi. But yeah, if the back is, it's not gonna show up.
Oh well.
Is not pretty. The movement is not. It's kind of a mess. They tried to make it look like a map of Mount Iwate, I think, or the horizon. They tried to make it all artistic, but it turned out to be like a bit of a mess. But anyway, yeah. So that's a watch that I wear all the time, and we're addressing what Kevin said earlier. That's not the one. So Kevin was saying a collector is someone who puts them away. So even though I collect, I am a collector. I think I don't fall into Kevin's category of a collector.
Me neither. I wear all my watches.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
So Peter thinks, I think a collector is someone who wants a specific group, whatever that is. So yeah, I would fall into that category as a watch collector. I although I think I'm close to moving on from Grand Seiko, at least for the moment, and moving on to something that is different, and adding that to my collection. But I'm not sure about that yet. Kevin also said there are some that just collect sought after watches, not necessarily from the same brand watch style. Kyle says hi Kyle, welcome.
Hi Kyle.
Says, I'm hoping for a smaller spring drive next year. I'd love to see something in the dimensions of an OP36. The one that I actually have, the SBGY 003, I don't know if you consider that. That has a really short lug to lug. If you can see, the lugs are super short, and the dial is a little bigger. So it's a 38 millimeter watch. It does wear a lot like an OP, I would say. Well, it doesn't wear like an OP, but it has the,
Well, yeah, because the OP36 actually wears like a 40. It wears like a 40, and then a 40, because it has like almost like a super case type of thing going. Rolex is always wear a little bigger.
Yeah.
For sure.
Kevin then said, I don't think that you will see that from Grand Seiko. They don't make watches in 36 millimeter size. With their spring drives, I think 39 millimeters is the smallest you're going to see from GS. Yeah, unless if it's that manual wind movement, which is pretty much a 39. But yeah, I think Kevin is right. They're going to have to design a whole new movement to be able to make a smaller spring drive watch. because it's
I don't think they're going to do that no time soon, because they just came out with the new spring drive to replace the one that is in the ones they have now. They have it in I think in the diver. They put it in the diver. It's a little thinner. But
yeah, that's the really almost the high horology spring drive
right.
version. It's the 9RA5.
Right.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movement. Really stunning finishing. I don't think it's going to replace the current 9R65. I think they're going to use it to move even higher up market. So I guess right now we have the Grand Seikos that kind of top out at a $6,000-$7,000 range, and these are going to be in the 10,000 and up range, I think.
For which ones? The Chronos or I know the Chronos they hit up to about what 18, 17, 18.
18 grand?
18
grand?
Yes. For the Grand Seikos?
Yeah, you're right. Those are the ceramic Chronos, right?
Right.
With the ceramic bracelet and the ceramic case.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, they're not spring drives. You're right. They're all high beat. They're high beat.
No, they are spring drive actually. Yeah.
They're spring drive?
Yeah. Those are some really crazy watches. I think one of them is like the SBGC something or other.
Right.
But they're regular chronographs that are just, like the champagne dial or the black dial chronographs. They're around that $7,000 to $8,000 mark.
Right.
But when you get to the exotic material like ceramic, they go way up. Understandably.
I had one spring drive so far. One I had the diver. I did a video on it. I forgot which how long ago, maybe about 6, 7, 8 months ago. I really loved that watch, but I sold it to finance something else.
Yeah.
Probably a Rolex or something. Yeah.
That
happens a lot.
Yeah. It does. I fully understand what you mean, because kind of to experience more, to get more content for the channel as well, right? I know I've done a lot, but I had 3 fixed. The 3 Grand Seikos I have, they're fixed.
Right.
Unless if I go through some sort of financial disaster, I will keep those. But,
right.
Yeah, I can quickly go through the comments again. Kyle tried the SBGY 002. That's the gold one, I think. And it has the same dimensions as yours, but they're manual spring drives. Yep. Okay. So yeah, if you want auto, that's gonna be tough. I think Kevin recommended the Soko release. They use the smaller case that comes in like the SPGA 283 as well. That's the champagne dialed smaller case spring drives. But yeah, they are in the 39 millimeter size.
I think he should wait. I think Kevin should wait. If I had any advice for him, I'd wait and I'd grab that King Seiko. Sounds like it'd be right up his alley.
Well, yeah.
Limited edition too.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did say he wanted the spring drive though. So kind of. I mean, Seiko now has a few spring drive options, but they're in the 39 millimeter range as well. Yeah, so that's a tough one. Kyle said, yeah, the Soko is 39. They're the same case as the 285. Yeah, 285, 283. Bob, welcome. Good to see you.
SBG W231. Let me look that up.
231. That is the manual wind 37 millimeter automatic Grand Seiko. It's a beautiful piece. I actually owned it for a while. I think it's a great watch. I think you should look.
Did you do a review on that?
I did, yes. Okay. Bob, I think you should look into the SBGW 235 instead. I know those are a bit harder to come by because they're more in the Asian markets. But the SBGW 235 has a blued seconds hand that really adds to the dial. The 231 I find a bit bland because all the hands are just stainless steel, which is a missed opportunity. But with the SBGW 235, it's really nice because you get a bracelet as well. So nice beads of rice Grand Seiko bracelet, and you get the blued seconds hand. Bob
Yeah,
said,
I'm looking at the 231. It's a really clean dial. Only has the Grand Seiko logo. Wow, I kind of like it. It's kind of a minimalist thing. No date.
it's
nice.
It's a beautiful piece. Yeah. But you should Google the 235. Actually, I can do that as well.
Let me see, 235.
W235.
Oh yeah, it's almost the same thing with a blue hand. Then it has a bracelet.
Yes.
I'm looking at it. It's nice. And they're both coming in around 4,500.
Yeah, and so that blued seconds hand really makes it.
What's the frequency on that?
It's a 28.8. It's not a high beat.
Oh, okay.
But it's a manual wind. Bob said it's a little thick. It is thick, but it's kind of on the thinner side. If you're into Seiko, Grand Seiko, you're kind of stuck.
You know what? I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What did they call the Côte de Genève on a Japanese watch?
Tokyo stripes.
Tokyo stripes?
Yeah.
Did you just make that up?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
no, I never thought about it because I always call them out the Côte de Genève on there, like regardless.
Yeah, Côte de Genève is French, I think, for Geneva stripes.
Right.
So when you have that Côte de Genève finishing on a Japanese watch, people generally call it Tokyo stripes. So.
Oh, that's simplified.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kevin,
I just learned something right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin says he really likes the SBGK 007. I really like the SBGK 009. It's the same watch, but it comes with a gray dial and another beads of rice bracelets. I actually, funny story, when I did go to buy this, SBGY 003, I went in to look at the SBGK 009. I was going to walk out with the SBGK 009, but then they had this piece for some reason in 2020, even though this came out early 2019, I believe. So this was sold out everywhere. Yeah, once I saw this, I couldn't not get it. So I gave up the SBGK 009 to get this piece.
I'm looking at the 009 right now, and your dial is cleaner. I'm looking at it. And they have that power reserve on there, and then the small seconds over at 9 o'clock. And
yes.
Yours, hands down, you picked the right watch. Over the 009.
Yeah.
Over the 009.
Yeah, let's just show it for those who are watching. The SBJK 009 is, I still really like it. I have a feeling this beads of rice bracelet might fit the SBGY 003, but I got a Forstner beads of rice bracelet for this that does the job, so it kept me from getting this guy. But Kevin really likes the 007, which I really like too. It's a beautiful piece. That's what we have here. So the cream dialed version. Yeah.
Okay.
So Crexo, welcome. Main flaws of Grand Seiko are the bracelet and the thickness. I agree. Yeah. The bracelets, I find the bracelets really comfortable. But yeah, there's no micro adjust. There's no on the fly adjust. I don't really need on the fly adjust, but and after a lot of tinkering, you can get the bracelets to fit well. But then, yeah, when it gets warm, it can be pretty pretty tight again or something. Yeah. So I agree. The thickness is pretty bad on this SBG J201. You guys can probably see it's really thick. It's about 14 millimeters. It wears better than it looks because of how it's been finished. But
yeah, this is 15.
yeah,
Look at that. That's a big boy right there.
yeah. That's because they
compared
a module. It's a modular chronograph. They didn't integrate it, but yeah, it still wears a lot better than it looks. Like you don't really notice it. Bobby's here. Hey, Bobby, good to see you. If
Bobby Legs, what's up?
If you guys want to join in on the chat, the StreamYard link is in the description, so you guys are welcome to join in. Kevin said I made the right choice. Yes, I think I did as well. I'm really glad to have the SBGY003.
Yeah, I like that.
Cruxa said the Four Seasons limited editions are amazing. They really are amazing. Okay, so let's address Kyle's question. I want GS to come out with a snowflake no date at the same dimensions as the SBG JX261 with the screw down crown, spring drive, lastly, and on the fly incremental bracelet adjust feature. That's everyone.
That's asking a lot.
that would be a dream watch, a dream.
Yeah.
The SBGX261 is a 37 millimeter diameter watch. Beautifully wearing. It wears a lot like an OP36. Even the lugs sweep out like an OP36. So Kyle, you should consider getting that. But it's a 9F quartz. So let's move on to some of the other topics we were going to talk about. We were going to talk about some of the idiosyncrasies or the fussiness of being a watch enthusiast or a watch collector. So Eric came up with a couple of things that we can talk about, and I added accuracy into the mix. But we were thinking power reserve, if that is as important as a lot of us make it out to be. I know I had an issue with Oris and the power reserve, and it became a bit of a scene, I suppose. So let's chat about that. What do you think, Eric? Do you think power reserve is really important?
Absolutely not. And the reason why is because for approximately 200 years, they wasn't on this power reserve kick, and this power reserve kick all of a sudden became a big thing within the last 6 or 7 years. No one cares. If 38 hours was the norm, 40 hours was the norm, and that's all you really need. I mean, I don't even think I can find a watch under 40 anymore. But the whole 5-day thing I think it's just a selling point. It's a selling point, and it overcomplicates watches. I'd rather see less power reserve and put the money into the indices, put the money in the sapphire case backs, put the money in the finishing. But that power reserve, I'm gonna tell you something. That Oris, I don't even know Oris want to talk to you no more, but because you blew Oris out the water. But you have to tell it like it is. The thing I like about your channel is that you are honest about it. And I saw a channel where they did a thing on there. I think it was Random Rob's channel, where they said they have a hack, whereas you can set the watch. It's a hack. I mean, like, who's going to do that? I don't care about a way to fix the problem. Or should have got it right the first time. And I'd be embarrassed if I was Oris. I hope you don't have that watch still. I think you sent it back, right?
I did. I returned it, yeah.
And I love Oris. But that movement was not ready. They should have held it back to 2021.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any animosity towards Oris, and I hope they don't towards me. But I mean, I did definitely cause some damage there. But yeah, it was what happened. The minute hand jumping wasn't a big issue for me, but we were talking about this on New Year's Day as well. Yeah, you kind of have to go forward and then back, or wiggle the crown, and yeah, you shouldn't have to. It's not ideal, but if you really love that watch and you wanna put up with it, I was gonna put up with it until the power reserve issue came up. So here's
Right. That's another thing. That's another thing. How do we know that this power reserve is the thing?
I
I
think
mean,
the power reserve with the watch was the issue. I have a feeling it was the rotor, um,
okay,
and I I don't know. I'm not a watchmaker, but this is just me sitting on an armchair thinking about this for forever. But the rotor has a friction clip mechanism that attaches it to the movement, um, and I don't think that was so good. Um, because the ball bearings allow for the rotor to spin freely, even though it's a unidirectional winding watch. I think the friction clip uh, kind of messed that up. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this was just the piece that I had, but I did. Again, just to fill some guys in who aren't up to date, I wore the watch for 2 days and I wound it up for 2 minutes. Obviously, I didn't hit the 240 or something winds that I should have hit in 2 minutes. But I thought since I was wearing it for 2 days, the rotor should have done a sufficient enough job to take it the rest of
right.
the week. But the watch still died 3.5 days later. But that brings us to the power reserve issue. Or power reserve concern. I agree, and some people are chiming in as well. Bobby mentioned that uh, he loves power reserve indicators, but power reserve is not the most important thing to him. Bob Loblaw said that power reserve is important, but not a deal breaker unless less than 38 to 40. Chloe, good to see you. Good to see you, sir. Power reserve isn't important for me because it gives me an opportunity to mess with the watch. If you don't want to mess with your watch, get a quartz.
True. That's true.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. I I think I enjoy a power reserve at that 50 50 and up range. I think I am a little irked because I change watches so much. I change watches so much. I do find say an ETA 2824 or a Sellita SW200, I have to wear it every other day or it will die. And it's not a big deal. Setting it takes
Or watch winder. If you're
yeah,
really going to rotate,
yeah, that's true.
you
Um,
know.
but yeah, just for convenience sake, I think once it hits that 48-hour mark where I can let it sit for 2 days, I'm okay with it. And I'm okay with it even if it is 38 hours. But I just prefer it if it was at that 48-hour mark.
So
Personally,
the whole 5 day, 10 day, like I think Oris has a manual wine that's 10 days. They
yes,
have a manual wine that's 10 days. So I guess you got to wind it 3 times a month. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing about the power reserve. When you have an automatic, it's not a big deal.
yeah,
If you have a manual wine, I think it's paramount because I owned the Speedmaster.
right,
I owned the Speedmaster, and the reason why I sold the Speedmaster is because I kept forgetting to wind it, and I'd be at work, and I'm sitting at work for an extra hour, like, when am I going to leave? Like, oh my God, my watch stopped. That watch would stop once a week because I kept forgetting. So if you're not going to interact with it every day, I think a high power reserve, like on a Panerai or an Omega, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. If you're used to automatics, and I'm used to automatics.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think at that point also you run into the issue with the spring kind of losing a bit of torque as it gets further down the power reserve and losing accuracy and things like that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, you can have a really long power reserve, but then you'd lose the accuracy over time, or you have the potential of losing the accuracy over time. I know there are movements with double barrels that'll maintain the accuracy through the range of the power reserve, which is really cool. But that comes at a cost as well.
Right.
Yeah. So Kevin also mentioned I have a Tudor North flag and do like the power reserve indicator very much. I like the power reserve indicator too. In the Grand Seiko Snowflakes, I know a lot of people don't like it. but I do like that indicator. It because it adds to the dial. Because just to rant a bit, because I really like the snowflake. Um,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful, like a snow scene, and it looks like there was a truck parked there that was there the whole time while it snowed, and then it just drove away. That's what the power reserve
Right.
looks like to me, and I really like seeing that power indicator. I know a lot of people would say it messes with the symmetry, and it does, but it's such a cool thing you can
Hey,
imagine.
hey, Kevin, keep that north flag. Don't flip it. Keep that north flag because that's going to go up.
Yeah,
That's gonna go up definitely. I hope you have it on a bracelet too. But that north flag's gonna go up. I think they may have discontinued it.
yeah,
If not, they would. If not,
it,
they will be.
yeah. It is discontinued, which
Oh,
is,
okay. Yeah, yeah.
which is
It's good.
sad.
It's a good back. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of my favorites in the Tudor range. I'm sad that they discontinued it. Bob's mentioned Hamilton has 80. They do the H10 movement. I think has 80. Um, Kevin also
I got
mentioned,
one of those. You know what? I got one of those coming any day now. It's the
yeah.
Hamilton. It's a limited edition 50 millimeter watch, and it has the H50 manual wind,
Okay.
and that has 80 hours power reserve. So I'll be doing a review on that to see how that is.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about it is that they slowed that beat rate down just to get that. You know, it's not a 28,800 anymore. I think it's more like a 21.6 or something.
Yeah, I think
You
so.
know,
I think a lot of the Swatch group movements have switched to 21,600 3 hertz beat rate
right?
to accommodate that extra power reserve. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really mind that. That's another thing we can talk about the beat rate. is the
Well,
bit,
I kind of mind it. I don't mind it as much on chronographs or with something with a small second hand because you don't get that jitter. You still get a smooth hand. But on the bigger face watches, I'd rather have 8 hertz. I mean, 4 hertz or up to 8 hertz. It looks really good. And you had a Zenith, right?
yes, 10 hertz.
Was it a high beat?
Yeah, yeah. The upper
Oh, well,
one,
you had the yeah. You had
36,000 VPH. So it's
yeah.
really nice. My GMT is a high beat as well, so it's a really nice thing to see. But then I also have a spring drive, and that just blows everything out of the water.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah.
That does.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next thing. Let's talk about accuracy. How important is accuracy for you, Eric?
Oh, that's paramount for
Yeah.
me. If a watch doesn't keep at least chronometer accuracy, I usually don't have it very long. And speaking of chronometer, that's another gimmick because I don't have very watches that are not certified, and they still keep that that accuracy, you know. And then I go by the Rolex, and the Rolex is not in the chronometer specs. Go figure. But look, so I don't know that whole thing about accuracy. I guess it's hit or miss. If you're really into it like me, hold on. You go satellite wave,
Oh yeah.
and you don't have to worry about that. It's always just like your phone. So
Yeah.
that's my favorite watch right there. It's 47 mil, but
Yeah.
it's just I mean if you want accuracy, you got to go quartz. And I throw spring drive into that, even though it's mechanical. But you
Yeah.
know, spring drive is it's both. It's a hybrid movement. So
Yeah. Related. Yeah.
quartz for doing what a watch actually supposed to do. And I think Nick Shabazz did a video on that years ago.
Yeah.
Quartz is actually better power reserve, better accuracy, better shock resistance, better, more anti-magnetic, but it just doesn't have the soul. But I kind of think the Grand Seikos has blurred the lines because I think Grand Seikos have soul and spring drives. I think it's kind of like a guy with an artificial heart. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
he's
That's a good
still a guy, but or RoboCop or whatever, you know. So.
Yeah.
So what do you think about our accuracy? How important is it?
I used to be a huge stickler for accuracy, like painfully so. But I think again, as I get older in this watch hobby, I become a bit less fussier, and I found that I'm a little less concerned about accuracy unless if it's outside of spec. If it's outside of spec, that really bugs me. So say an Oris Aquas with the Solita movement is rated for -5 plus 25 or something, and if or -15 plus 25, and if it's outside of that spec, it really bugs me. I had a Clean Ocean that was +15, which for all intents and purposes is a terribly accurate movement, as in not very. Right. But it didn't phase me. The accuracy itself didn't phase me because it was within spec, and I think it applies to me this way because I wear a watch for maybe 2 days in a row, maybe 3 days in a row, and then I switch it out. If I were to wear a watch for say a week or 2 weeks, accuracy probably would bug me quite a bit if I were to keep it on my wrist for a week or two. But since I do switch them out, it does not bother me at all. So yeah, in reviews, I tend to forget to even talk about accuracy unless if I really make a note to talk about accuracy, because accuracy really I couldn't care less unless if it's a quartz or if it's out of spec. So that's kind of where I stand. Guys in the chat, let us know what you think. D, hey D, don't know who you are, D, but welcome. He says running fast is easy. I just pull the crown out, count the seconds, push back in. That is true.
That's true.
I do like that if a watch is faster rather than slow. I think he was answering Kevin's comment here. A watch that runs slow is a deal killer for me. Agreed. Slow watch is not.
Me too.
Not nice.
Yeah.
Bob agrees. Overtly agrees. All caps. That is why Omega guarantees that its meta certified watches will not run slow. Only a few seconds plus, no minus. That's true, and I don't know why others don't do that. I think it's far nicer to have a watch that is maybe running at +6 than even -2, even though -2 is, theoretically more accurate. But I take the +6 if I had to.
Right.
-2.
The only time I don't mind when a watch is running slow is if it's a watch that is a purpose watch, like take this watch for instance. This isn't an everyday watch. I just put it on for today, but I will only wear this watch if I have a meeting or if I'm going out somewhere with my old lady or something. And whereas I want to know what the time is, even though this watch runs about 2 or 3 seconds slow a day, it's no big deal because I'm not going to wear it more than a couple hours. But when you have your pieces that you wear daily, they need to run good. They need to run damn good. So, in my opinion,
yeah,
so, right.
Yeah, it's better to again, it's more exciting to have an accurate watch, but yeah, I see what you're saying for sure. Kevin says, I find the 6R35 movement runs a bit fast, especially as they get down in their power reserve. I think you're right. I have had some issues with 6R35 movement recently, like the recent 2 watches I had. I just reviewed the blue Captain Willard, and that one is completely erratic when it comes to positional accuracy. Like if I'm wearing it, it's running at +10. If I put it down, it might be +40 one way, -4 another. It's just bonkers. And I know there were issues last year, 2019, 2 years ago. There were some issues talking about Seiko movements being over lubricated, the 6R15s. I have a feeling mine might be over lubricated. I don't know. I'm not a watchmaker, but it's just ridiculous positional accuracy, and it has me.
You have a 70-hour power reserve or 50?
Yeah, 70. The 635 70. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so it really has me reconsidering. I don't know if you've seen the new Marine Master 200 reinterpretations.
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen that.
those, those are
Oh
really nice.
yeah.
But I'm having like an existential crisis about Seiko's because I really don't want to put up with the 6 hour 35 anymore. Because yeah, like when I pull my watch out after it's been in beside my bed for 6 hours and I pull it out and it's -30 for some reason, that's kind of annoying. Even though I don't really care about accuracy that much, but -30 in 6 hours is not acceptable.
And that's your Captain Willard.
That one is my Sharp Edge, the SPB 169.
Oh, the green one. The green one.
The
The
Willard
green one.
is a bit better. The Willard, I'll say, is a bit more bearable, but
Okay.
green one's a bit crazy. So yeah, yeah. So I even though I really love the Marine Master 200, I'm kind of a little tired with Seiko. uh, and yeah, hopefully not for long. I might have a good
Right.
experience later. But Bugster is here. Welcome, Bugster. Good to see you. Luckily my watches are all fairly accurate. My BB58 annoys me a little as it's right on the edge of the specs. Yeah, on the cusp there. That can be pretty annoying. He also has the Willard, and it runs 0 plus or minus. Very lucky.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I think we were talking about that one. I think you had the black one, right, Bugster, or did you have the green one? Can't remember. Yeah, so we can probably hit up one last thing, one last question or topic. I was thinking of asking you about, or I think you mentioned this as well, quartz versus mechanical.
Yeah.
Are your thoughts? What do you think? Do you prefer quartz? Do you prefer mechanical? Hey, let's narrow it down for an everyday piece. What would you do? Would you go quartz?
I go my satellite's my everyday watch. So and that's because I can't afford because I do shift work, so I can't afford to be late. So it's always right, and I know it's going to be right. So that's my everyday piece. And then when I come home, I take it off and I switch up because I always switch up during the day. When I come home, I take off the quartz, and then I go to the mechanical watches. So
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I probably would pick mechanical or a spring drive. I guess spring drive is
spring drive's cheating. Spring drive's cheating. Okay, you can't. You have to honestly. Let's address the elephant in the room real quick.
Yeah.
Spring drive falls under quartz. It's too accurate to fall under mechanical. I know it's mechanical, but you can't. I mean, that's $1 million question right there. Spring drive, in my humble opinion, falls under quartz because that watch is too accurate to be considered just a mechanical watch. It's just, I mean,
yeah,
it blurs the line. It blurs the line. So
yes, it does. It's a mechanical movement that's regulated by a quartz crystal, basically, right? So
right.
there is a quartz crystal in there, and it does keep the timekeeping. So the quartz crystal is in charge, and the mechanical movement does the grunt work. Right? So yeah, I agree. I would, if I had to pick, like if I had to take spring drive and put it in either mechanical or quartz, I would put it in the quartz category as well. If I had to. If I had my way, I would make a new category.
Yeah, that's true.
A hybrid movement, and I'd put the satellite quartz watches in that hybrid movement category too, because it doesn't it wouldn't be like a pure quartz, like a really high accuracy quartz movement, but
this one is about I think it's about 8 seconds a month, but that never comes into play because it's checking that GPS signal 4 times a day on this one. Right. So if you did that, so if you was in a cave, you are correct. It would be more on the lines of a non-high accuracy quartz.
Yeah.
But since it connects, oh well.
Yeah, even like the Seiko Astrons, like the really cool high-end uh, satellite watches that I used to not really be interested in, but they're actually really well done. They're big, but not that big, and they kind of use all the Seiko tricks in making the watch wear a lot better than they actually do.
Hmm.
So like for 2000 odd US dollars, I think you can get maybe a lot less actually. You can get a Seiko Astron that
Oh, I know where a bunch of them are. About 3 or 4 for about $700 at my AZ Fine Time.
wow.
You get $700 because they're like new old stock or something.
Yeah.
The watches happen to be about 2 years old, but they never were purchased, and they're just sitting there. And they told me, "Hey, $700, you have it." And I was like, "Oh," so I'm thinking about entertaining that.
Wow, that's
You know?
that's crazy deal. That's quite a deal.
Oh yeah, for a $2,500 watch for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I put those in that hybrid category as well because they're not keeping timekeeping by themselves. They're using the aid of the satellites to keep the time or the
Right.
radio frequencies. Um, but yeah, so I guess I am cheating if I say spring drive. So, but yeah, I would revert to revert to mechanical then. As an everyday piece, I would stick to mechanical, even though I have a 9F Quartz that I really like. I have a G-Shock that I really like. I would, as an everyday piece, I would still pick up, say, my Captain Willard or my High Beat Grand Seiko to serve me rather than a Quartz. I don't have the problem of being late.
Right.
So yeah. But we've hit that 1 hour mark, the 1 hour sweet spot. So I think we should start wrapping up. You guys should definitely check out Watch Once Over's YouTube channel. He does some really nice reviews.
Appreciate that.
He picked up the Seiko we talked about at the beginning of the stream. It's a SRQ 025, I think.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Beautiful Zen Garden like dial, beautiful Laurel Brigade numerals. Such a nice watch. It's you guys should check out his review on that. Um, but yeah, other than that, it's been great talking to you, my friend. I will see you next time. We should
Oh
now that
yeah.
we kind of have this introduction set up. I kind of like to do that with new guys, new collaborations. We should have like this introduction, and then we can talk about the nitty gritty later
Oh,
on.
for sure. For sure.
So, yeah, so let's do that.
I got a lot of time. It's a lot of watches. I have a little. I'm not really super well versed on a lot of the Seikos and stuff, but when it comes to like the Chopards, like the LUC Chopard, Swamagere, Ferrier, Jacques Dro, Romain Germain, JLC stuff. That's where I do a lot of reading and stuff, with the high horology pieces.
Yeah.
And I actually got my eye on something that's coming pretty soon, and it's going to be a Chopard,
Yeah.
and I want that because I want what a lot of people aren't doing. I mean, it's just so easy to go buy a Rolex. It's like, hey, I got a Rolex. I never really felt like it was a special watch.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
No,
So
it's
I
not
want.
an assembly line watch, right? Um, which kind of takes it out of the special category. But I guess it is really expensive, so it puts it back into the special category there.
I think everybody who wants a Rolex wants it because they never had it, but once you get it, it just turns into like not a big thing.
I actually don't
Yeah.
have I've never had a Rolex. I don't really want to have one. We didn't actually talk about that, yeah. But it's kind of a personal reason. I do really respect Rolex as a company, and I would own one if I could. But I do go into get myself into certain situations where I shouldn't be wearing a Rolex quite often. So
Right.
especially like with my church, if we're going out to help some people, that's the last thing I want
Right.
to honest. And it happens so suddenly. These kinds of situations, you could tell me, that I could take it off, put a different watch on, but these kinds of things come up so suddenly that
Right.
you don't even think about what you're wearing at that point, and then you're out the door and you're like, oh yeah.
I've got that question before. Where they pay you enough to buy Rolexes? And I was just like, yeah, you're right. It's a time and a place for them, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into some other stuff that once you look at it, you almost have to be an enthusiast to know it.
Yeah.
Like a Parmigieri Fleurier or Jacques Dro or something. You almost have to, like a watch guy. Like if you saw that, you would know what it is. Anybody else, they think it might have came from Walmart. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I like understated watches.
Yeah. That's nice that you're into that. I've actually just kind of dipping my toe into those high horology pieces, which is why I've been kind of watching the Bobby Legs podcast, not the podcast, but the live streams and the I'm in Reviews live streams. You guys, if you haven't seen those, definitely go check those out. A great group of guys. They chat about some of the higher end pieces, and they're really into those kind of watches. So I've been learning more and more about that. But yeah, I'm more in the lower end of lower spectrum of timepieces. So yeah, if you're into that'll balances out pretty well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to our next chat.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me here.
No, thank you for coming on. So yeah, guys, just again, if you guys want to check out Watch Once Over, go do that. And we will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.
All right, have a good one. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.